Okay, so live parade. We're gonna break this down into two parts. We're gonna do the first video where we're gonna talk about all the event basics, and then we'll split strategy into another video because otherwise my videos will all be 40 minutes long and people hate that. So let's get started. First of all, you want to know how do you find the event. That's brain dead reasonably. You can find the event from the banner. Like, you literally have to have banner blindness to not be able to find it. The other way to find it is that you can go to your events list of songs, and then you can find it from this banner at the side here. There are a couple ways to access the event, but usually the one that goes from the live menu will not be available once the event ends, so just keep that in mind. So this is the main page for the event. Usually you get a tutorial telling you how to go through stuff. I've already skipped through all that. So let's walk through what are we looking at over here. First of all, as usual, all your event information's in the bottom left corner. And this event is non-ranking, so non-competitive. There are no event point rankings, so you only see your current event points, your total number of attendees, and your current score rank. Then this will show you your next reward for event points and next reward for attendees. That's it. Now there's this whole set of buttons at the bottom, right? That's a lot of buttons. Before we go through that, obviously if you would like to read the story commune, this is the shortcut. It will tell you how many points until the next one that you've unlocked, but you know, as usual, you will only unlock 5 during the event, and the last one unlocks after the event ends. So let's talk about this whole mess of buttons down here. The first button over here brings you to the Gekijo Wide for this parent event, which is the comic. If you read those things, it brings you directly to here. You can read this at your own time. We're not gonna do that right now. We've got other things to talk about. Missions brings you to the mission list. So this shows you what are the limited missions you can do for this specific event. And do note that right now, as there is a voting event underway, you need to get 600 points per day to get 30 votes. That's probably the most important part. The rest of them is you get a bunch of jewels for playing the game, 50 for playing the Master Plus, so go ahead and, like, you know, throw together a live team and pass it or something. And if you do, your daily 25 jewels is from playing 3 lives. Well, I say 3 lives, but really it's just like 3 missions in a sense. We'll get to that in a bit, but basically you get rewards for completion, and you don't have to complete everything to get all of it, but you do have to play the event a bit. So next button goes to the rehearsal, because this is well, it is the start of month event, so your rehearsal is accessed through these buttons. This is for the MV. Simple enough. Live settings. So this is where you would go to select your defaults for this event. This is what's displayed when you start a live, so it by default says live parade. You can change it to all sorts of other different things, but you can't put any illegal characters in there, and putting it shorter doesn't actually make it load faster, so it really doesn't matter. First part, minimum level. So this sets the minimum level that it's going to randomly select. Of course, you can select outside of this thing by changing it manually, but this just makes it such that whenever you start a mission setup screen, you don't have to go and manually configure things one by one. You will just automatically be filled just like that. Do note that this is device specific, so if, for example, I were to close my iPad right now and go onto my phone, the settings will all be different. So you have to configure this once per device that you have. And that goes for the unit as well. So currently I have this all set to a specific unit. You have the option of setting none. If you set it to none, it will default to your strongest unit by appeal number only. Now, appeal number is not the best way to determine what's the strongest team. So I would not use this setting unless you were absolutely that lazy that you don't want to configure it. The next option is actually the main unit, which is that forgotten feature that nobody uses these days, where you can actually mark a unit as main inside your unit selection list, and this would mean that it would select that unit. Now, The rest of them is your units from 1 to 27. And so if you haven't named your unit something useful, then this is one of the places where you'll find like, oh, is it unit 23 or is it unit 24? That you can't remember. But if you do, it's quite straightforward to set it up. Usually most people set it to one specific unit that they want to use. Otherwise, you can just come to customize it as you like. The one thing that I would say about having no setting is that this works together with the song that is random. So if, for example, you only have 3 teams, right? One for cute, cool, and passion. Maybe a 4th team for all type, and the rest of your unit slots were blank. What they will do is that, depending on what song it randomly decides for you, it would choose the strongest unit by appeal for that specific song. So that's like a sort of like a semi-intelligent thing it does, but like I said, it doesn't do a very good job at being intelligent most of the time, so I wouldn't use it, but up to you. Maximum level is pretty nice to set in case you can't do hard songs, and the very last checkbox over here, I believe it is on by default. What it does is that when you finish a song, and it will show you the live results. So if you wanted to play through the event a bit faster, you don't want to see the live result screen every single time, you can turn this off. Now, there's going to be a button in between that allows you to view the song results anyway, so don't worry too much about that. Alright, so that's this button covered. Now we have this button. This button shows you the trending songs for the day. So these are songs that are going to get a 1.5% attendee bonuses for the day itself. Once it hits the next day at midnight, as it says down here, it's going to reset and a whole list of different songs are going to come out. So these songs are like somewhat random, but they're actually chosen before the event. So, and half the time there's going to be some significance about like what actually the song means. There's some message in there. If you're really interested in figuring those stuff out, you can go take a look around. There are other resources on that. Twitter tends to talk a lot about it. Yeah. Alright, rewards button. So that's the next one on the list. This one shows you all the rewards they can get from the event. As usual, this shows you the point rewards, the attendee rewards, the high score ranking rewards, and finally we have the premium pass rewards if you happen to be subscribed to the premium pass. So this is one of the things to take note, is that in this event the main way you're going to get cards is through points and attendees. So in order to get 15 star of the card, you're gonna need to have grind up pretty much all of these extra cards that you can get. And that means that you're gonna go up to 2 million attendees, and by the time you're at 2 million attendees, you have easily passed 40,000 points. So I usually don't worry about the point reward as much as the attendee rewards. Okay, next button is ranking. This is your high score ranking page. Typical stuff. Nothing too interesting. You can browse the ranks, check your borders, see if you're gonna in danger of falling out. This is not a score attack video. We're not gonna focus on that too much. This brings back that tutorial that you may or may not have skipped in the beginning. It tells you all sorts of stuff, but if you can't read moon runes, it's no use to you whatsoever. So we don't talk about that. And finally, help, which nobody reads because it contains words. Nobody reads them. So the final 2 buttons that I haven't talked about, this one brings you to a set of jobs. Now, there are 10-hour jobs for this event, just like any other event. There are also like 6-hour and 4-hour jobs. I would not do them personally because they only give you an item that boosts attendees, and it's a single-time use item. It's not particularly good compared to most of the other event jobs. For example, jobs for Arapon or token or emblem, whichever one you prefer to call it. Those are far more useful. This one, not so much. Finally, this is how you access the event, the big pig button, and this shows you a whole list of areas. Now when you start out, you're going to be pretty much stuck into area 1, and which part of the map is completely random, but the only thing you really need to think about are the missions that are available here. So there's going to be 3 missions per area. You're going to need to clear them, and once you've cleared them, you can go on to the next area, kind of. There's another thing that you need to do, which is over here there's a second number over here that says how many attendees you need until you can unlock the next area. Now, it is not a linear thing in the sense that this one unlocks the third one, this one unlocks the fourth one, and then it's different every single time which area unlocks which area and how many is required. So in this particular event, it's you need this fourth area and fifth area to unlock the sixth area. So, and both of them have to be at 80,000 each before you can get to the fifth area, which requires 150,000 to unlock the final. It's complicated to some people, so I would not think too hard about it. Just get to an area, grind until this number reaches 0 and turns into a bunch of dashes. Proceed to the next area, repeat. And that's how you would progress this event. There are three missions in total, as you can see. And then after that, you unlock the 7th area, which is always going to be called EX, right? So as you go from one area to another area, the cost in stamina increases and it becomes more expensive to play. But of course, the amount of attendees you get is higher for the more stamina you cost. And the main thing about this event to note is that there is this thing called missions, right? There are requirements that you have to meet to clear an area. So you need to get 200 perfect great for this particular one. Then here we have a bad miss requirement. Now, it's gonna be hard to tell you exactly what all of the possible missions are because they change every single time this event is run, but you can get a rough idea. There's usually gonna be a life mission, there's a note requirement mission, and take note that whenever there's multiple songs, the mission applies across all the songs, so you do not have to get say like 600 notes in a single song, for example. Let's see. Yeah, so this one says 1350 notes, right? 1350 notes. There is no song that has 1350 notes unless you look at the medleys, which you don't want to play 3 medleys. So the game is forgiving in that the requirements are split across all 3, but it also means that requirements that are like bad and miss have to apply to all 3, which means that this is total misses. You can only miss 20 times total in 3 songs. If there are life missions, for example, this one requires a minimum of 65% life. It is per song, so every time you clear the song, it has to be at 65% life or higher. And this is total level. Total level is just basically telling you that the total level for all the songs that you've selected must be above a certain number. And yeah, so that basically covers it. But actually, what you really want to do is to clear the 3rd mission in EX, because once that happens, you unlock a bunch of bonus missions. And so let's go and do that real quick. Alright, so before I forget, let's go through exactly how this screen works. So this is the screen that you go to before you confirm the live. And there are a couple buttons here. This one toggles your standard 3D graphic settings, and that's usual. This is your live settings, your live options, the same stuff that you have normally in any live, and that's all standard. And this is the live settings again, for the event settings again that you saw in the event screen. You can change it directly from here, but do note that if you change stuff like the minimum level number, it will not update immediately. So you would have to, it will only apply to future missions that you unlock. It doesn't apply to the current mission that you have. Finally, here's the information about the current event mission that you're doing. And if you if for some reason you forgot, you can just bring it up again and you can see what's the reward you get for clearing this mission. Now, this is a 3-song mission, so you see 3 songs here. And in the bottom, you have this option for using additional money to gain bonus attendees. If you had completed one of the jobs for this event type, you would be able to use the items that you earn from there. Or if you're played live party, you can also get those items from there, and you can use them as well. But do note that each mission, right, will only accept one item, so I cannot use both of these two, right? It can only select one. And if I use one from this side, I won't be able to use this either. So it's only one, you just need to keep that in mind. The next button is this. This actually just brings you to the configuration screen. There are actually a few ways to get access to this place. This button works the same way as pressing this, and works almost the same way as pressing this, just that this one brings you to the second song. Right, so this, I'm configuring song 1, configuring song 2, configuring song 3. If I really wanted to, I can make all of the songs the exact same song. The game doesn't care about that. This button brings me over to unit configuration. The other way to do that is that you can go to here. If you don't want to access it through the song menu, you can access it through here. This will allow you to configure the same thing. For song 1, for song 2, for song 3, I can set them all to the same theme. It does not matter for this event type. And there we go. So in order to return back to the main page, I can press that, right? The other way I can do that is there's a button that tells me just return to the preparation screen. And that's it. Now, this button is auto live. Auto live in this specific event works slightly different, as in that if it's 3 songs, it takes up 3 tickets. So it's a bit inconvenient, and it will only allow you to do a multiple of 3 if you happen to be doing a 3-song live. So not quite as good as some of the other event types, but it's a thing. You can still use it. Note that auto live will not be able to complete missions, so in addition to the auto live penalty of like 70%, you have an additional 25% penalty from not passing the mission. So it's not very good, but that's just how this event works. So the last one is recommended settings. What this really does is it actually just allows you to randomize your options. So I have the option here to select song and unit, song only and unit only. Now, unit randomization only really works based on your settings here, right? If you set this to recommended unit, as you can see, everything here changed to the Yoshinos that I use. If I change this to something else, so now I'm on a different unit, I press this button again, it will change my unit back. Song only means that I can change these units to whatever I want. Then when I press the song only button, it will randomize only the songs. As you can see, my units have not reverted. And finally, that's both song and unit. So now my units have reverted and my songs have changed. So just one thing to take note about this is that this is where your settings here matter. So this will re-roll everything based on your rules. So right now I do not have any songs below 27 activated. But if I disable this, I'll start seeing strange stuff like debut and regular, right? So that's how you control this. And Master Plus, if you want to be able to play Master Plus, you have to check this, otherwise it will never roll a Master Plus song. If you check this, it will only roll trending songs for today. And these are 1.5% bonuses each. So each, having 3 of them is a 4.5% bonus. This bonus adds together with this, so you get 14.5% bonus maximum. That's just how it works. And this includes cover songs. So now I can roll White Breath, Lost Princess, right? If I don't want to see cover songs, I uncheck this. That's it. And this is just telling you to respect your event settings or not. If I uncheck this, note that even though I selected 3 teams over here, it's selecting other teams now. Because it's not respecting my event settings anymore for unit. If I check this, it goes back. That's just how it works. So one more thing to take note of is that the game will actually warn you if you cannot complete the mission. If you see this alert over here, it tells you that I don't have enough notes in my missions to fulfill the targets for the set list. So that's where you need to go and check, right? I need a minimum combo of 1050. So I can't pick notes, songs with too few notes in them. That's just one thing to keep in mind. So anyway, I'm gonna complete this and we're gonna play the game a little bit more, and then we'll see you on the other side once we're done. Yep. See what we have here. Alright, and with that, we've completed all the missions, apparently. Well, kinda. First of all, we'll take a look at this. So first of all, it tells us that we've unlocked a whole bunch of missions. Strange, didn't we just finish all the missions? Well, we'll get to that in a second. So one of the things that I did mention about was the additional way to see your results. So right now I have the song results disabled. If I wanted to go and see the song results for the last song that I played, I press this button. And that will show me my play, my results. And it'll show me like how much fans I gained from that particular play. That's just how you do it. Anyway, we're gonna go to this part. This is gonna tell us like, oh, we've gotten some basic point and attendee rewards, that's it. And this is your standard result screen. Okay, so let's go back into the event. Now we're gonna notice that we've unlocked a 4th mission in every single place, right? And the reason for that is that basically this whole parade game mode functions a bit like a single player campaign kind of thing. You're gonna have to grind through every single area to get to EX, and once you've completed EX, you unlock sort of like the post game where you have slightly more difficult missions, and you have 5 of them. You have like 2 of them in additional every area, so it brings the total to 5. So right now I have 3 missions cleared. There's going to be a 4th, there's going to be a 5th, and the 5th mission usually awards the card, except the EX 5th mission awards jewels, because the EX 5th mission has been really easy these days. They've just made it like sort of like a joke mission where all the numbers are made up and are just funny. So that is how you unlock all the content inside of Live Parade. Now I would cut to showing you like all of the missions done, but honestly you don't need to see all of the missions done, because that really doesn't teach you anything new about this event. So once you know how to access all of the content there is in Live Parade, there really is nothing more to it. Otherwise this video would be 50 minutes long, and it's already really damn long already. So I think that will pretty much conclude what we have to cover for this part. Now, if you are interested to know other things about Live Parade, for example, strategy, like you want to know what are you supposed to do with all these missions and all this campaigning and stuff. I just want to get my cards. Why do I have to go through 20 million steps? I don't want to play the game, right? So if you're interested in all that kind of stuff, then I highly suggest you wait for me to produce the second video for this, which is gonna cover through all that interesting stuff that people actually care about. But anyway, I hope that this guide was useful, and that you don't forget your daily votes from logging into the game and playing this event, even though it's very unpopular. And yeah, I think that pretty much is it. If you guys found this video useful, be sure to leave a like and leave a comment telling me like stuff that I can improve on. What else would you like to see next time? And don't forget to vote Yoshino. It's election season.